Today we have, for the first time, a repeat guest in the field of real estate, sales and marketing. I see him as a true expert.
Dr Anand, welcome to our arena.
Since we last spoke, we talked about the bubble bursting.
People are absorbing the homes. When you're short of homes, the bubble doesn't happen. For example, someone turns around and says,
"Oh, price of real estate is so expensive, it's so expensive."
That has never ever happened before in our lifetimes.
Does it make sense to even get into real estate right now?
Do you have more questions than you have answers?
when I see someone, I see what I was when I was 24, 25, lost, wanting to do something, not even knowing where to start. But when we have gone through all of that, discovered the shortcuts, I think it's a crime if we don't share that and help people to the next level in life.
Were you a born salesperson or did you develop the skill?
We sell from the day we are born and we'll sell till the day we die. We just don't realize that we're selling.
I notice you don't say, I'm in real estate.
It's the fastest way to turn someone off.
Tell me why.
Okay, because
People really don't trust them.
Yes.
The broker community as well.
How do you keep up with the change?
I have a strategy which I use. I know I shouldn't be saying it, but I'm going to say it.
Please do. Gladiators, welcome back. Today we have, for the first time, a repeat guest. I promised you last time that we got so many nuggets out of this gentleman, especially in the field of real estate, sales and marketing. I see him as a true expert, somebody I have the highest regards for. And Dr. Anand, thank you for coming back in your busy time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me back, and it's good to know that I'm the first one as a repeat.
First,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank
The
you.
feedback was amazing, and I want to really pack as many nuggets as possible in this hour that we have with you. Since we last spoke, we talked about the bubble bursting, and it hasn't, has it, in the real estate market? And you were busy telling me before the podcast, the cameras went on, and how the actual is going better. The sales are going up, prices are doing. So what's your opinion about the Dubai market late 2023?
Okay, you talked about the bubble and then the market late 2020. So I think let's address both of them. Let's do the bubble first, because everybody's talking about this bubble. I've been hearing it from 2004. Quite frankly, it's the strongest bubble I've ever known. It hasn't broken. But again, see, there are some aspects of the market that do indicate a bubble, and I think that's why a lot of people misread it. Basically, by definition, a bubble market is where your economy is flatlined or having very marginal growth, but one particular industry is scaling up dramatically in terms of both the price as well as the pace of growth. So the two are at odds with each other. That's when the bubble happens, because at one point it becomes unsustainable and it has to crash. Now, when people look at the Dubai market, and particularly in these last 3 years, the recent bubble scenario, it seems to fit that, because you can see incredible escalation of prices consistently happening over the last 3 years. And we have already crossed the peak of 2014, after which everything collapsed. So when people look at that and say, this is a bubble, it has to crash, and that's where they make the mistake, because they're looking at only half the picture. If you simply look at the sustained rapid increase in price, yes, you would feel that way. But you cannot separate real estate from the economy of Dubai. Dubai is on an upward roll as well. See, what's been happening, if you look at Sheikh Mohammed's 2033 agenda to double the economy, we never had that in 2014. That was a very different Dubai. We did not have an agenda to double the economy. We did not have the golden visa opportunities, which is attracting so many people now. Applications for the golden visa have doubled already. We did not have a District 2020. We did not have the Dubai global initiatives. So the Dubai of 2014 cannot be compared with the Dubai of today. We're seeing strong economic growth. We have already been we've been voted the second strongest economy in the world, Switzerland being the first and UAE being the second. So we have a steady economy. We are growing at a GDP of 4% a year right now. The two of the strongest economies in the world, India and China. India is at 4.5% and China is at 6.5%. We are at 4% and the world average is 2.6. The US is at 1.4. So you have an economy that is scaling up. You have an increase in population that is coming in. We are at 3.5, now 3.6 million. We will be at 6 million in 2033.
That's just Dubai alone. Right?
Just Dubai alone.
Yes.
And 7.8 million in 2040. So if you look at the numbers, actually, you're talking of 2.5 million people coming in the next 10 years.
It's a shortfall of stock.
We are short of homes. 2 months ago, it was out in the newspapers. So when you have 250,000 people coming every year for the next 10 years, and even if you take the average family size of 5, Dubai average family size is 5.3, but let's just take it at 5. We need 50,000 homes every year. We're only handing over 8,500 every year for the next 5 years. We're short of 40,000 homes every single year. That explains why all the developers are launching. Because everything that launched in the last 3 years, which is now in handovers, are getting absorbed because the 10-year visa is pulling in a lot of people. The population coming in is absorbing it. The District 2020, the new regulations on how to start up businesses in a more friendly manner, the casino and anticipations all coming in. People are absorbing the home. So we will be short. When you're short of homes, the bubble doesn't happen because you got rental yields are going up. You've got capital appreciation going up. Economic growth is going up. Doubling of the economy, increasing population by 70% in 10 years. So while the prices are going up, it's fueled by the demand. So the economy is going parallel with this. That is not a bubble.
Amazing. You deal with a serious number of real estate agents and individuals
And developers as well.
and developers. One of the problems, again, a lot of the indicators are back at 2009, 2014, was that lots of unprofessional, I've actually deal with a lot of real estate individuals coming saying, I've just got a job as a real estate agent. They give me a phone and they say, here's a lead, close. Isn't there an area where you think maybe people are jumping into the real estate business and not getting enough training? It's going to hurt the market. What's your opinion? And I still can't believe that our real estate agents, some of them very prominent, are treating people like this.
Yeah.
And it hurts me because it's kind of using the individual riding this wave and say, right, go out there and graft. What's your opinion?
Okay. Firstly, honey attracts flies. Okay, so this is in both cases. We have brokerages that are being set up who are in it only for the money. They honestly don't care about Dubai as a city. They don't care about the brand of Dubai and the real estate. They don't care about the buyers or the sellers, and they don't even care about the brokers. They got a sniff of the money, and that's why they're here. That is why I'm saying honey attracts flies. There is an ethical, moral, and commercial responsibility these companies have to ensure that they can provide what I call the red carpet real estate experience. Today, we are number 3 in the top 10 power cities in the world. We have the best performing real estate market in the world in terms of yield. Why should any buyer or seller have anything less than a top-notch red carpet experience? But what happens here is when you have companies that don't care, they're only after the money. That's one side of it. The second side is that you have brokers who have never really sat down to understand what is this industry about and what does it require from me so that I will create an impact. They too saw the money. There are some people who are focused, serious, they do understand it, and they've taken the responsibility upon themselves that we are going to get the knowledge, we are going to build the networks, find the people who are ambassadors here. So they are taking responsibility for themselves. Some of the others have just come in, quick deal, make money because they saw a friend who just made a 50,000, 70,000 commission. So they've come in. So for those kind of people, yes, I completely agree that they do bring a smear on the image of Dubai. Most of them will not last for long anyway, but they do the damage and then they go, right? Similarly, many of these companies also eventually will close down. Now, if you're a new broker and if you're listening into this podcast and if you've joined and if your intent is genuine, you really want to make a mark and be a professional broker, you want to help people get good homes, then if you're in a company where they put a phone in your hand, give you some list of names and ask you to call, leave the company. That's my suggestion. Leave the company because that company does not deserve someone like you. Spend a little more time. Headhunt. Today, all the brokers are opening their doors. But when you go into the companies, do your background reference checks. Talk to people. Everybody's connected in the market today. But make sure you choose a company that's going to seriously invest in you. Finding out such information today about brokerages is very easy because Dubai, everybody is connected. You walk on the streets, you're tripping over a broker. You will definitely find someone who can give you information. Just make sure you're talking to a credible source, not somebody who got fired and is carrying a grudge about that brokerage. But if you're genuine and serious about it, you've got a great opportunity in the city of Dubai and in real estate. But find a company where the company can leverage off you, but you also can leverage off the company.
There are many out there.
Yes, there are. I would say there's a good 30 to 40 companies out of the 2,500, 700 companies. So you really have to
And
find.
they're recruiting right now.
Oh, yes. They're all recruiting. See, because this market is exploding. We always will be looking for good people. And there's another reason. Even if you're a good company, there are many brokers. You see, the competition is always attacking who? Your best ones. They're not interested in the average. I mean, they're killing you anyway. You can keep them. So your best guys are always being hunted. So there's always going to be the possibility that you will lose some of them. So you need to keep growing your bench strength and developing them. The second reason is sometimes brokers, once they've started making a lot of money, they get it into their heads that I don't need to share my commissions. Let me go and set up my own. Most of those guys fail, by the way, because while they're great at closing the deals and making money, they don't have the entrepreneurial sense to run a business. They're closers. So that's the challenge. But you will lose some of these. There's no way you can avoid it. So you'll need to keep topping up and getting people in. So companies are there. There are 30, 40 good companies. I obviously wouldn't want to name one or two of them because...
So if I had a list of 5 or 6 people that I think, great, I can pass them over to you. You can
anytime. You can pass them to me. They can drop me...
they're really... I've spoken to them. They want to come to my training courses.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to them. I think, God, and they're very young. They don't have the experience. Now, do you feel somebody needs to have experience to move to these companies, or you rather... they be young, enthusiastic individuals with zero experience?
You can see, a good company takes both. Cash needs to come in through the front door, right? We need to be billing. So that's where you turn to the heavy hitters, the ones with the experience, because they've already got their networks built. They're doing a lot of referral generation. They've got good hold in the brokerages. Therefore, access to inventory is good. They have the ability to close because they understand the market. So these are the guys who will start bringing the money in.
Yes.
But at the same time, you have to be growing long-term revenue, which will come from those new people that you bring in, provided you invest in them, because you got to absorb costs of these people. They're going to start churning only 6 months later, right? Most of the companies are getting rid of them within 2 months and 3 months. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
So these new people, the young people have to be brought in. Attitude is right. All the knowledge can be taught. All the skills can be taught. The buddy systems are there. There is so much happening in Dubai today that you can easily find mentors and learn to grow. So you need to have both, definitely. Because if you're running only on those few big heavy hitters, you're always running a business at risk.
Yes.
Because those are the guys who
few
will
eggs in one basket.
Yep. And those are the guys who will probably leave you at some point in time. Either they do that or they stay with you and they negotiate a higher commission payout. Because I don't need your marketing. I don't need your lead generation.
Yes.
So I'm not working on a 50-50. I'll take a 70-30. I'll take an 80-20.
Yes.
So your potential to earn from them drops significantly. And these are the highest risk players that you have in your team who would go and set up their own or who are going to be hunted. Tomorrow, somebody will give them an 85% and make a 15% for doing absolutely nothing. So you need to grow this steady group that will be long-term players for you.
Thank you for that. So many questions. So when you see somebody new in the marketplace and they're doing well, what are the top 3 things that they're doing you suggest? I know mindset is one of them. Probably hard work. What is, from your point of view?
Okay, so
what is that trick? Those 3 things that they can do to be successful.
What they can do to be successful, not what they are doing.
Or what they are doing.
I would say the first is attitude, because attitude is the foundation to everything that you do. Because when you walk into this industry and you walk into any brokerage, there are going to be a few bad apples around. And they only wake up in the morning to destroy everyone's spirits and hopes and aspirations. The amount of energy, in fact, they put in that, if they put 20% of that with the clients, they'll be making money. So they destroy that. So I think these people have learned how to insulate themselves and protect that attitude. Super, super important. Because when I have that, out of that attitude comes the willingness to learn, the dedication to your work. They are not afraid to make mistakes, humble enough to accept feedback from the others, willing to put in the long hours, have a strong belief in themselves and in the goals that they have set for themselves. So definitely for me, that attitude is going to be number 1. The second thing is they are usually people who are very evaluative about themselves. They're constantly doing a pulse check on themselves. What am I doing well? What did not work well? They're looking at how to shorten the length of their sales cycles. Why is it taking me 7 phone calls before I can speak to them? How can I drop that to 3? And why is it taking me 4 viewings before I close the deal? So they're constantly evaluating and evolving. They're measuring, they're evolving. They're looking for the help. They're learning new techniques. I get requests every day from people. I'm willing to pay. And even if I don't take it from them, I coach many of these guys. So I think that is very important for me. The third thing for me, which is very important, is discipline. So attitude, the evaluation and review, and discipline. It's the biggest challenge in the industry today. People don't want to walk into the office on time. They think that because I don't get a salary, I'm not an employee.
Are there companies out there paying salaries?
There are a few. There are a few that are paying. Most of them are not paying.
And the ones who do pay, the performance is the same.
It's the same.
Yeah,
it doesn't make a difference. So that's what I'm saying. It's an attitude and a discipline and that evaluation. You see, because the discipline comes in what? Personal presentation, which also goes, attitude is the foundation of everything. You're meeting millionaires and billionaires of the world. You want him to put 15 million on the table and you look like something the cat brought in. So you don't want to come in on time. You have late nights, hangovers. You come into the office, you're ordering cheeseburgers because you're zonked and you need to pull yourself down to earth to work, or you just don't show up. You make all the excuses. I'll work from home today. You're in your pajamas on your bed with a laptop and your pet cat. How much work are you going to get done? So I find that discipline, doing the tasks that are required, the managers and the directors who are telling you what you need to do, they've earned the right to tell you that because they've done that and they know the value of it. So that discipline on learning the new skills, applying it, following the daily activities is required. So if you'll notice in my first 3, it wasn't product knowledge. No, it wasn't selling skills. Yes. It wasn't knowing yes, you need all of that. But if you have a crappy attitude and if you are not willing to have the discipline, there's no way anybody can teach you the community because you'll make every excuse why you shouldn't be going and visiting the community. So if these 3 are in place, that person is destined to succeed. It's only a matter of time.
Beautiful. Every time I meet you, your passion inspires me. Okay. And before the cameras went on, what I said was that I've become a little bit despondent at the moment. And I'm like, how do you keep it going, doctor? Because you have every scenario that you expect. And I know you care. Right?
That's true.
How do you not allow this to get to you? Because there are people out there who will drain you, who will fight you, who will resist. And I know that your loyalty is the people who actually write the check, who believe in your training. How do you make sure that doesn't get to you and you keep this huge level of energy and optimism going?
Okay.
What's your secret?
Again, it's not a secret. I've spoken about this a few times before. For me, I see myself as an ambassador for everything I do. I'm living today in one of the best cities, if not the best city in the world. Okay. We have a leader who's so inspirational. The vision of the city is so inspirational. If anybody even understands the D33 agenda and where we're going as a city, it is impossible for you not to be inspired. When we are in that landscape, I don't believe we can be spectators. We've got to be part of the game. So every one of us in our industries needs to be ambassadors for our industries. And an ambassador is someone who's selfless. They stand at the front and they will echo to the world what is coming, and we become like the trailers to the grand premiere that's coming. So for me, I'm very clear in my mind why I want to do what I'm doing. I'm really grateful to this city because of the kind of opportunities. There's no city on the planet that gives you opportunities this way. And if we who have benefited from these are not going to help those who are coming behind us, then I think we are very selfish in how we use the benefits of this city. So for me, the passion comes from, I share the same passion. I've seen what was the one thing or 2 things that set Dubai apart from this region, anyone else? Vision and passion. It was just vision and passion. There was absolutely nothing else.
They've had their knockbacks, they've had the naysayers, they've had on a major scale, and they still keep going.
Yeah, but when you have vision, you're driven by the vision and the passion. And if you look at Dubai is the perfect city for it. I'll give you a couple of examples which I think would work very well for this podcast. When you talk of Hussain Sajwani, Damac Properties.
Yes.
He is one of the people whom I really, really admire. I remember when he came into real estate, nobody even respected him or acknowledged that he'll be a big player, because it was all the big boys, the master developers that were being talked about.
Correct.
And that was their biggest mistake. They did not respect him enough to pay attention to him. Today, he makes everybody sweat. They're all doing well, but you cannot deny what he's doing with Demand Properties as well. And he used to always say this. He said, someday there will be someone who will come and we will not respect him enough. And he's going to put us all in the shade. Wow. So you can see that this man with that vision grew here. When Sheikh Mohammed 25 years ago talked about his vision and said, I want Dubai to be one of the best in the world, everybody laughed at him. Everybody ridiculed him.
True.
And today, if you look at the Economic Times survey, the Global Power City Index, Dubai is number 3 on the planet, ahead of all the major metropolises in the world. How did we do this in 20 years in the middle of the desert? So this city understands vision. And we need to be part of that vision. Emirates Airlines, another example, because I spent my early part, 10 years was with Emirates Airlines. So I live in a city that had vision. My 2 major business engagements as an employee were with visionary companies.
Emirates, yes.
If you look at 1985, the royal family gave $10 million to Sheikh Ahmed and said, build us an airline that will topple Gulf Air. $10 million.
No.
You can't even buy 20% of one plane with that. So they lease 2 planes from Pakistan International and they start the airline. 15 years later, they were the biggest airline in the world. There's drive, there's belief, there's passion, there is aggressive confidence in what we do. I have that sort of a personality and I love it. I have this strong, strong desire to help people. And that's the reason why my motto has been change the world, one person at a time. I do it in the business side of it. I do it when I coach and train people. I do it in my community life. I teach the Bible in 27 churches today. So that's what I do.
Where did you get the time, honestly?
For me, when I see someone, I see in them what I was when I was 24, 25, lost, wanting to do something, not even knowing where to start. Or even if I'm starting, multiple false starts. And I get it. Those who have got drive and vision will not give up and they'll eventually get there. But when we have gone through all of that, discovered the shortcuts and know what is, I think it's a crime if we don't share that and help people to the next level in life.
Do you ever lose it with anyone?
Did I ever lose it? Not yet.
Wow.
Not yet. Well, there were a few people who have pushed me to the brink. Yeah. But I've always used something. It's a very old management technique, which is called the helicopter technique, right? It's the view. You simply ask yourself, 5 years from now, how important would this particular situation be? And it's just gone immediately. And I've also learned one more thing. Be larger than the space you occupy. You see, it's easy for people to get angry, to lose it, to be frustrated. There's no grace. There's no strength in that. Okay. And most of that is fed by ego. But negative ego. So when you have a healthy confidence about who you are, you don't need appreciation from people. You know who you are. You have absolute clarity. Your conscience is clear in what you do. However, you are larger than the space you occupy. You are able to embrace them into what you do. And eventually, you win these people. Oh, that's the biggest victory you have. The same people become your ambassadors now. That's why I've learned we need to be the advancing person, larger than the spaces we occupy.
Beautiful. I love the way you put it. And people feel your true essence, don't they? They know you're real.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
They know that you unconditionally want them to succeed.
Yeah, it's one thing I almost everybody says that. They said, we can see it in you. Yeah. We know when we come to you, we will get the truth. You have the answers. And everybody, why are you not writing a book? When are you writing your book? I'll be the first one to. You should be writing. So you know you're creating that impact. You walk around in malls and it's the best. If someone just walks up to you, can I take a picture with you? I remember what you told me 6 years ago and I'm still using it.
It changed my life.
That's it. That's it. That's why we wake up and do what we do.
Beautiful. We're going to keep jumping back and forth.
Yeah, that's fine.
Real estate agent owners, there's the small, medium and large size. Who's got the biggest challenges and why? You see, because you deal with them all, right?
Yes.
The guy who has 300, 400, 500, 600 agents out there, does he have major problems or he's got it easy?
Well, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Yeah, well, he has major problems because you got to understand
but they're all on commission only. I'm talking about from the market looking into, they're like, oh, wow, they're big boys. They got it easy. They got momentum. But I don't see it that way. Please share.
No, they don't have momentum because of, in fact, many of the big boys are not even paying commissions. But I'm working with some of the smaller agencies, and we are seeing people from some of the top 5, top 10. They're saying we're not being paid commissions. Training is not what they promised for us. Our directors don't care. They threaten us when we're going to leave. They harass us. And this is what's happening. And why would you even need so many people? Because even if you look at that entire mass of people they have, the 80-20 still applies. You got about 20% of the people that are really working, and then the top 4% are the real killers. Those are the rock stars. But the rest of them. So what happens is when you scale up that way, you scale up the negativity, the complaining, the moaning, and the whining, and it spreads a lot. And in a very connected community of brokers that Dubai is, the more people you have, and then they tend to be negative, it just gets out there among the people. Plus, you're paying for the real estate, you're paying for their visas, you're paying for all of the desk space, the exits, the terminations, all of that. There is a cost into the business. When you scale up, you should be scaling in a way that you work on this sales velocity, which is the ability of your people to convert so you hit your targets. You don't go volume-based growth, because you're growing it, but you're increasing costs, and tomorrow you're going to create a lot more problems for yourself. So that is an issue with them. That's true. With the smaller agencies, I think the first mistake they're making is they start to compare themselves against the big boys. Stop doing that. You're not there yet, right? All you need to do is you've got your target. Make sure your systems are in place. You hire good people that will work with you. Hire people who are ambitious and have belief. You're small. You need giants with you. So make sure your recruiting is bang on so that you get these people who are winners. Grow slowly. Your competition is never the big boys in town. You might be having a better balance sheet compared to many of those companies. Correct. And you're probably taking more money home. Yes, there will be a point where you'll reach where you can scale up, go to your 100, 200, or even 300. Though I honestly don't understand why you even need that many people. You need it because you're going volume-based revenue generation, not value-based. So if I hire 800, 200 will perform.
So they're probably small to medium-sized agencies that are making more money net than the big boys.
Very possible, because once you become big, you're taking on larger projects also. You're scaling up. You're starting to make your own developments. You're taking buildings exclusive.
That was going to be my next question.
And it is a hard sell to do some of those, because if you have 80% of your team are Mickey Mouses sitting in there, they will never limit themselves to be selling a dedicated tower or something like that. Or why should they sell only your development? Exactly. Because firstly, their attitude being wrong, their foundation not being correctly built. If a client tells them, no, I'm not interested in this, take me to Damak, that's it. They're going to take me to Shobha. They are not going to dig their heels in and help this client understand why this particular tower is an amazing opportunity. So they actually create a lot of financial commitments on themselves, and they don't really think it through as to how you need to develop your teams so they can actually deliver. Wow. That's the big challenge that they have. The smaller ones, forget the big boys. Don't worry about them. Focus on who you are. Grow. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog that matters. Okay, your net revenues or your net profits are much, much higher. Grow slowly and quiet, because people are not paying attention to you. Okay, so when they're not paying attention to you, you can actually get away with a lot of things. And suddenly, when they start taking note of you, it's too late. It's too late. You've already, but you have built yourself well. So it's only a matter of time you're going to steamroll them. Dubai is a classic example.
Is there any consolation of, is it called, when they all get together, is it called, am I using the right word?
Consolidation.
Consolidation. Is there any consolidation in the market at the moment? Or do you see that? Like maybe some of the big boys will eat the smaller ones? No,
I don't see that happening here so much. Yes, it has happened. A few agencies have been swallowed up, or rather, a couple of big boys have merged. But that was in the past. Right now, I haven't heard of anyone who's doing that. Even if it does happen, what you've got to really look at is what is the strategy? What is the intent behind it? Are you trying to, in a way, eliminate certain competition in the market, or become so big that you can now dominate versus the others? What is the real agenda of doing this? How does the top management change? What is the new culture that's going to come in? Two completely different companies, power hitters from both sides. How are they now going to integrate with each other? So there's a lot of those challenges. That's why I haven't seen or heard of any big ones doing it right now. They probably might get into partnerships, sign exclusivities on certain flows.
But no major mergers and stuff like that.
Not seen anything here.
Doctor, you've been amazing.
Thank
Nugget
you.
after nugget. I'm going to hammer you with this one. I'm a new broker, and I need to get more. Maybe let's look about rental business. Let me look at about properties for sale. I need to get more properties on board. How do I start? Because I don't know anyone. I'm new to the market, and maybe my agency has got tenants looking for. How do I go about finding properties?
Okay, when you're new, you'll have to recognize, like in any industry for the matter, you have to put in hard work. Okay, the big boys who are hitting the big numbers today, they worked like donkeys before. So you cannot look at a Ronaldo or a Messi and look at where they are today and aspire. Look at where those boys started. Their whole life was given into what they did. You're going to have to put boots on the ground. You're going to have to shake more hands. You're going to have to go into the communities, but become a genuine expert in the community. Then sit back and see what works for you from the company that you actually have. I'll actually give you an actual situation. Big brokerage company in the same building. There was this broker who joined, and I'll play the WhatsApp for you later. I don't want to do it obviously here. It was the beginning of the second month, and this lady is not able to close the deal because she's trying to get listings from an owner, and the owner is constantly throwing this thing at her that you are new in the market, you will have no network. Why would a buyer be credible enough to come to you? You have minimum
this owner
listing.
is not giving exclusivity. Is she asking for exclusivity?
No, at that time it was at least list with me so I can find you.
Yes.
But he's coming at her saying that why would I even have the confidence that you will be able to find someone for me? So she called me up. She said, what do I do? This owner's creating real problems for me, and this is my first big thing. I don't want to lose it, all of that. So I said, okay, do what I tell you and let's see what happens. So I told her exactly what to say, and I'll tell you what to do, what it was. She did it. 10 minutes later, she calls me back. She's all excited and bubbly. She said, Dr. Anand, it worked so much. Thank you very much. He said, okay, I'm going to send you all the documents by 10 a.m. today. Because I said, listen, you're new, but you can leverage off the fact that your company is established. So how do you do it? So if Dariush wants to list his homes in Dubai Marina, and he's talking to Dr. Anand, and who's new in the industry, Dariush is saying, Anand, why would I want to list with you? I absolutely will expose myself to the market, but I don't think you can get me serious buyers. We use an instant reverse. Dariush, that's exactly why you should be listing with me. Confused, right? What do you mean? So that's what you got to say. Dariush, that's exactly why you should be listing with me. What do you mean? When you list with me, you don't just get me. I come from a team of 12 aggressive brokers in Dubai Marina, each of them specialists with 5 years experience between them. When you list with me, you don't get me. You get 10 aggressive brokers with 60 years of experience in that community that's going to sell for you. Now, what do you think sells your home faster? One broker that you know with 3 years or 10 with 60 years of experience? That's exactly why you should be working with me.
And the guy went, you got me.
There you go. That's exactly what happened with her. He said, you'll get my documents by 10 o'clock. The girl closed 17 million in that month.
Oh, congratulations to you both.
Yeah. So what happens again? So when you're new, what are your strengths? Who do you know? What's the legacy of your company?
You used the name of a system. You used it. It's called something. You just used
just now, the instant reverse.
Instant reverse. Could you explain instant reverse? I want you to share the technique to our listeners, please.
Okay, as the technique. So, for example, someone turns around and says, I think Dubai, the prices have gone too high. It doesn't make sense to invest in Dubai right now. I'll say, Dariush, that's exactly why you should be investing right now.
And it messes with their heads.
It messes with their head. They go to, what do you mean? And now, what's the strategy here? The first thing is they're making a very confident off-the-cuff statement, right?
Yes.
They're sitting in a place of comfort and confidence.
Yes.
Rattle it, create chaos, confusion.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's exactly why you should be doing it. What do you mean? Their confidence lowers. Now you have taken control. And then after that, what you say really, really matters. Mm-hmm. So that's the instant reverse, which is what you use for They have
So
a
you're not
very-
justifying. What most people do is justify.
Yeah, you justify later. So another classic example would be, "Well, I think their payment plans are really aggressive." So Darish, that's exactly why you should be buying from them. What do you mean?
And then
You come in and you use a technique called a "did you know?" Because everything that follows "did you know" is accepted as fact. We're conditioned. All the amazing facts around the world always are preceded by "did you know?" This is why the psychology of the approach is very important. So I think the payment plan is too aggressive. I think the down payment is a lot. Well, Darish, that's exactly why you should be investing with them. What do you mean? And then you come, "Did you know that the premium developers actually control quality of the product, finish timeline, and even the lifestyle of the neighbors through a payment plan?"
Beautiful.
They don't know. They'll say, "What do you mean?" But I'm using "did you know?" I move into questions. I'm in control. And then you start.
And you're
to
not
explain.
patronizing.
No,
You're not
why would
pissing
you?
them off. Exactly. It's not ego issues. You're playing with that confusion. Then they're open to being educated.
Absolutely. I don't have any money. Sometimes you get this on the phone. No, I don't have any money right now. Darish, that's exactly why I'm speaking to you. What do you mean? I said, "Did you know that most of my investors initially felt the same? But here's what they discovered." And then you can come with the answers. And then I said, "Darish, by the way, how much money did you actually think was required?" You see, he might be thinking about the whole thing. "I just need that 80,000, 90,000 right now. We give 5 years to arrange that." So you go into all those techniques later, but the instant reverse is very powerful.
Beautiful. So thank you for that. We're going to use a lot of those nuggets there.
That's exactly why I shared it with you.
I'm going to keep asking. So I sit in the phone. I've got people, but I don't know. I don't even know that landlord. I don't know anything. I'm new to Dubai. I'm new to this area. I don't know who the landlord is, who to call. How do I go about finding properties to add to my list?
Okay, there are a few
In
ways.
this particular case, sorry to interrupt, this lady had a number. She was having a dialogue and she used the skills you taught her to turn the landlord down. What if you don't even know who the landlord is? How do you go by contacting them?
Okay, some of the traditional ways of doing it, they still work, provided you approach them correctly. You find out which type of companies actually work and service and care for those buildings and communities. Right? They could be cleaning service companies. They could be maintenance companies, security guards who are in there. There are this garden management companies, landscaping companies. These are a lot of companies that you could speak to if you can get connections in them. Just build a connect with these people and they are actually willing to share numbers with you. Or let's say you've decided you want to make Dubai Hills Estate your area. Just walk in on a Saturday or a Sunday and just go into the golf club. They've got beautiful restaurants, a bar. Just get yourself, invest a beer in your own network. And just sit around, go casual. People will talk to you. They're relaxed. They see you in there. And your approach is very important. Okay, so my name is X. So what do you do? Well, I actually help my investors grow their portfolios. What do you mean? How do you do that? I said, well, usually what happens is a lot of my investors, people like you, are from Dubai Hills Estate. So I do come here, have casual rounds of golf with them. I brief them on upcoming opportunities because many of them are curious about upcoming opportunities. That's what I do. And you just start having conversations with them and people will just start.
I notice you don't say, "I'm in real estate."
No, please. It's the fastest way to turn someone off.
Tell me why.
Okay, because...
Tell me, let's do this nugget one. Why is it, Dr. Anand, when somebody meets you and you say, "What do you do?" and they say, "I'm in the real estate business," it's the last thing you do?
Okay. Firstly, it's not just real estate. If you ask anybody, what do? You don't say, "I'm in medical sales."
I'm a lawyer.
You don't say,
I'm an accountant.
That's rubbish.
I'm a printer.
Your answer should be something that catches my attention so that I ask, "What do you mean? Or how do you do that?" That's how you start. Okay. So anybody in sales anyway needs to work on a very exciting introduction. Now, real estate in particular, again, some of the responsibility of this has to be taken by the companies here and the brokers. You see, when you don't invest in creating a reputation and a legacy, when you hire Mickey Mouse, you get anybody and you throw data without coaching and training. Are you looking for property? No. Boom. When you have a lot of that, landlords are frustrated.
Exactly.
Buyers are frustrated. They're getting between 15 to 35 calls a day.
Yes.
And out of those, 90% are Mickey Mouse calls. So the moment I hear real estate, that's it. I'm
I'll
done.
put you in the same category.
Absolutely. So what do I do then? And there is something that is letting him know I'm a broker. That's because my introductions are so traditional. All of us work with unconscious pattern. These guys have all built up, these guys as in the buyers and sellers, they've built up their own defense mechanisms to bump you off.
Yes.
Because the moment you say, good morning, am I speaking with Darish? Sales guy.
Absolutely.
All right, you've already revealed who you are. Or good morning, my name is X and I'm calling from real estate. Done. That's it. So when you use the traditional patterns, they've already built ways to bump you off.
Right.
So for example, yeah, I'm busy right now. I mean, you took my call, didn't you? You wouldn't tell him that, but you need to have the confidence that someone, a millionaire or a billionaire who's busy, does not take unrecognized numbers, particularly when they are harassed by 15 to 30 calls a day. But if he's taken it, it means he's free. But the moment he realized that you are a broker, I'm busy right now.
Yeah, he's practiced that.
It's unconscious pattern. It just comes out. And why does he do that? Because he knows, next question, when will it be a good time to contact you? For that, he's got 3 p.m. ready in his head. And he has no intention of picking up your phone at 3 p.m. Because he told 20 others like you, at 3 p.m. his phone is dancing on his table with everybody. There's no way he'll pick up. So break that rhythm. Change your introduction so you create the confusion in his head where he can't go to unconscious pattern. That is why property, real estate does not work. And then the image on the industry is terrible because of most of them. So what would I give as advice to brokers? Reevaluate your own approach and your thinking. You can't do anything about the cloud that is there. You did not create it, but unfortunately you come under that cloud. How you start your call, how you start your meeting will dispel the cloud. That's all you need to worry about.
Work on yourself. Work on your own
Work
page.
on yourself and be different. You have to stand out. For example, a lot of people ask me, what do you do? I said, oh, me? Well, I take care of the goose that lays your golden eggs. That's what I use all the time. And it gets people every single time. What do you mean by that? That's all. I catch the attention. And then I said, oh, we develop the ROI that will get you your ROI. We work on
dialogue develops.
Yes, we create the return on intelligence that will give you your return on investment. Then people ask, how do you do that? I mean, that first line, oh, I take care of your goose that lays your golden eggs. It gets people into the conversation.
Me and the headache pill.
And you're walking around with the oranges and the hats and all of that.
Yeah, be creative.
The moment you're different, people are amused by it. Or at least I'm willing to give you the next 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
And
it's
what
your
you
chance
do in that 2 minutes, I'll give you the next 20.
to capture their imagination.
Absolutely.
They meet someone, there's a good dialogue. How quickly do they follow up? Straight away, 24 hours later? Because people say, when is a good time? I don't want to look too desperate, too keen. What do you advise? Do they finish off the appointment and say, I'll be in touch tomorrow?
No. Okay. Third party is a technique you can use here because third party always works. So I would simply say, Dariush, from my experience, most of my clients that I work with prefer a call back within 24 hours. Some of them would prefer it in about 48. What are you comfortable with?
Then I mention the time.
But
then I give you the ticket to call me within 48 hours. Then you don't sound desperate.
One is that. Second thing is who have I used? Most of my current investors.
Yes,
that's
so
the group you're in.
you already put me into that. Yes.
So for you want to be in that group, right? Most of my current investors, people like you, usually prefer a call back within 24 hours, during which they want to see that I've prepared everything exactly the way they asked it. And usually if they're busy and they don't take the call, they're fine with me following up with a WhatsApp. Does that work for you?
Absolutely. Boom. Okay. So I'm giving you the open door and permission to come in. Fantastic. When it comes to finding prospects, now a real estate agent is kind of funny business because you have two clients. You have the landlords, the property owners, and you have the buyers or the people who are going to rent. So you're juggling all the time. One of the things that I get a lot is people saying I get a lot of no-shows. I turn up and they don't show up. Mainly the potential tenants or buyers. How do you eliminate that or reduce that in the marketplace?
Okay.
It comes from hello, doesn't it? You have to win that respect of hello, right? So
there are a few ways you can do that. I think the first thing is, if you have shown that you are different, you have to accept that you are not the only guy that this homeowner or the tenant is working with. He is going to talk to 4, 5. I don't know you from Adam. Why would I even believe that you're going to be giving me the best thing for my family? And when I'm curious, when I'm looking, I'm going to start looking at 4, 5 opportunities and put my details. So I will talk to you in the first phone call, but I'm going to also give those guys their first opportunity. After I've had my first conversation with them, that's when I'm going to decide, okay, this guy makes sense. Or this lady, she seems to know exactly what's going on. After that, I'll work with them. I'll ghost the rest of you. I'll become a no-show with you. So my goal here has to be to make sure I've got all my boxes ticked, that I'm doing things scientifically, correctly. I need to use pulse checks in between to ensure that the client is emotionally invested in me at every stage in the process. Once that happens, they're going to work with you. Now, even if the person does a no-show, it's okay, because he could have been working with somebody else. He got another offer, and maybe guilt does not allow them to call you up and tell you, listen, you know what? I picked it up with the other person. That happens. You don't have to feel bad about it, because you would probably do the same thing if you were in his place. And if it's okay for you to do it, it should be okay for somebody else. This is why attitude again becomes important. So what do I do with these kind of people? I have had a few people who have done that with me. So let's take an example. I have John, who has been looking for something in Dubai Hills Estate, let's say. Now, for some time, he's not responding to me, or he has just decided that he's going to go somewhere else. So what I do with these people is I use a technique, which is actually a brilliant technique that has come from the book, Never Split the Difference. Which is by Chris Voss. Yeah, it's called the labeling technique. So it's a technique that's powerful, works with everyone who's listening can try it. What you do is you actually call out that evasive behavior. So Darius has not been replying to me, not taking my calls. I should not be constantly calling, because the more I call, the more I'm virtually guaranteeing Darius will not answer. Because I'm putting pressure on him.
Correct.
There has to be a certain amount of space in between, and give Darius the credit. Maybe he is genuinely busy. Maybe he is talking to 2, 3 others. Maybe he's waiting for those calls. He's never going to tell you that. So make a few attempts. And after that, you simply have to do this. Darius, it seems like you don't want to take my calls. That's it. Don't add anything. Or it seems like you don't want to respond to me. They will respond in 5 minutes.
I feel obliged.
They feel, because they feel the guilt. And what's funny is they come in apologetic. And actually, 2 weeks ago, I did it in a company. The client who had been avoiding this person was at Jitex, not 2 weeks, I think last month. They're taking a video of themselves showing, listen, I've been really busy with this. Imagine a client who's been avoiding,
justifying why they couldn't.
is taking a video of themselves and showing, look, this is it. Now, what has happened is you've catalyzed the response. Now, every time you message them, this comes into their head. It seems like you don't want to. So in a way, you put it in there, and then they start responding to you. I think that is something that people can do. But it's not like you try once today, you try once tomorrow, and then you say it seems like. That's a bit rushed.
Do you know what I love? Sorry.
Yeah.
Please continue.
A couple of things. Yeah. So that's what they should be doing. The second thing I do, which works a lot, is I say, Darius is no longer working with me. That's okay. I put him into my database. I know he was interested in Dubai Hills Estate. The Property Monitor report comes out every month. Or I can get into Property Monitor. I can check 6 weeks later what has been the increase in the prices in Dubai Hills. Take a little screenshot, send it to Darius with a voice note, because tonality can come. Darius, I remember 6 weeks ago when we spoke, you were interested in Dubai Hills Estate. So I've been doing some homework for you. And I've noticed prices have just gone up 4.8%. And so I thought I'll send this information to you, because if you were to go ahead with this community, this is the information that will help you. Beautiful. And then they sit back and I said no to him. I didn't know that, but it doesn't take you any time to do it. Again, it goes back to attitude. Being an ambassador, listen, you want to buy in Dubai, whether you buy from me or not, I want you to get the best for yourself. Here's the information, use it. They come back to you, or they refer people to you.
Yeah, 80% of people regret their decision, don't they? But they just never go back, because you close the doors. They feel guilty. Yeah. This leaves the doors open. And
the egos and the emotional intelligence is not being brought into play here. So it becomes a bit of a standoff from both. Reach out.
Beautiful.
We are in business. Be
it's
humble.
Not personal.
Yeah, just be humble. Personal. That's why I said it's very easy to do avoidance, but to accept, to embrace and include, Be the advancing person. Be larger than the space you occupy.
Wow.
That's it.
Thank you. Going back to my question.
Yeah.
Never Split the Difference, the book. It's not an old book. It's quite a recent book.
Yeah.
So you've been training for many years, Doctor.
Yes.
So you're constantly changing and you're evolving, correct? Because you just put this technique you used from a book a few years back. So how do you keep up with the change? Because selling is a profession that by many years hasn't changed, although the market's evolved. People still sell the way they did in the 80s, right? So how do you keep up with the market? How do you find the time to keep learning and changing and evolving?
This is where the discipline comes in. Remember, I said 3 things: attitude, evaluation, and review, and discipline. The evaluation.
You do that to yourself?
Yes, 100%. And every single morning. Today, I trained at a brokerage, and the first question, and everybody knows it, I come in and I tell them, you know my question, right? And they are scrambling for their phones. I said, too late. How many transactions were registered yesterday? And they don't have the answer. What is the cash to mortgage ratio? They don't know. What was the average price per unit registered yesterday? How about last week?
Although they know you're going to ask the questions, they still...
Why? Attitude. Attitude.
Wow.
And there will be few. I'll find 1 or 2 who will have the answers. And I actually called and I said, bravo, well done. But I do this every morning. When I wake up, first thing I do, and in my training, I actually say it and they laugh at me, but I'm dead serious about it. I said, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing I want you to do is go to the Dubai Rest app. And I want you to check the number of cash transactions, the mortgage transactions, the total values that have been registered, the ratio, the average price for every unit that was registered yesterday. And I need you to do this before you brush your teeth.
Wow.
That's what I tell them. So I usually get a few looks from people. I said, don't tell me you need your morning coffee. Don't tell me you need to brush your teeth so you can get the numbers in your head. The first thing you do when you wake up is you get onto your TikTok and your Instagram while you're still in bed. You know why? That matters to you. Now, if you could do it, so what matters to you is what you will look for. Discipline yourself. Know how your industry performed yesterday. You're an ambassador. You can brush your teeth and check your Instagram after that. So you have to make it a discipline. Every time a new article comes out, there was an international survey now that put Ras Al Khaimah as the 4th preferred place to live. Abu Dhabi went to 5, Dubai went to 11. I will not just read that and ignore it. I'll go to what was the international study? Internations, what did they look at? And I'll immediately screenshot and keep these things. And every time I'm going to agencies, any agency you talk to will vouch for this. I tell them what came out in the paper yesterday. COP28 is starting now. What does COP28 mean? Why is it important for UAE? And I actually put them through that because for me, the moment I see something, I'll immediately go to the source of the article and get the information. One thing that has helped me, which I'll admit I have an advantage over the others, when you work with so many agencies and so many developers, you go and you say it in 20 places, it's imprinted in your mind. For most people, they see it once or twice and then it's gone. But because I say it so many times in so many places, it's literally imprinted. So that has definitely helped.
And if the broker has so much more knowledge, then self-worth becomes more and they become more confident and they feel like educators and they add value and not just sell properties.
And they also understand why their industry is doing so well. Most of them cannot explain it. They're all panicking. Look at this, 2014. After that, the prices crashed. Yes, but that was the Dubai of 9 years ago. Are you comparing the Dubai of today to that? We've done an expo. We've introduced golden visas. We have a plan to double our economy. We have District 2020. We have the commercial gaming licenses that are being issued right now. We have the mass migration of millionaires from around the world that's coming in here. We are selling the highest number of high net worth homes around the planet. When we talk $10 million and above, we're number 1. This Dubai did not exist before. Why are you expecting today's Dubai to perform like a 9 years old Dubai? It just doesn't make sense.
Totally. Moving to my next question. We got 7-8 minutes. So, Ras Al Khaimah. They got the licensing, the gambling before the other Emirates did. And I've noticed the price is like doubled and trebled so quickly. It's very speculative. Do you think it's still a good time to invest in Ras Al Khaimah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can come into projects that were already launched a year and a half ago. You'll not make as much if you are a short-term investor. You'll have to hold it for a while, but you will still not make as much as the guys who bought 1.5 years ago. But you shouldn't be comparing yourself to them. They were smart. They did it. That is never coming back. So now you come in here. Or what you can do is you can get into new ones that are launching now, because for that particular project, that particular community, it's at its lowest entry point. So if you come in now into those, you will always have the softest, the lowest price for that community. You'll always have the longest payment plan. You'll have the highest possible returns, and you'll have the maximum exit opportunities, flexibility given to you. There's no point in sitting here and saying 1.5 years ago that happened, I should have done.
That, yeah.
Come on, that part is not coming back. 1.5 years ago, you made a lot of mistakes in your life, but you moved on. So why do you want to hold on to this one mistake?
Beautiful.
Just move on.
If you were going to invest, and money's not an issue, like you're not billions, but if you got a, let's say, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment in Ras Al Khaimah, what would you buy?
Waterfront properties. Waterfront properties, hotel properties, because there'll be a super high demand. They're going to give excellent returns for you.
Hotel properties, meaning it's serviced apartment within a...
There are serviced apartments. There are hotel projects which are coming up where individual investors are owning a room, 2 rooms, 10 rooms in the floor. So hotel properties, hotel apartments, anything waterfront, anything that is going to be short stay, staycations, absolute killer.
Perfect. Dubai. Which areas in Dubai do you think are booming? You mentioned 2020? You said
District 20.
District. What is District 20?
District 2020 is in Dubai South. It is the offshoot of the Expo 2020 that we had. Expo 2020 was the trailer of what is going to come in that area. We now have literally that area is classified as a city. So you've got the biggest airport in the world that can handle 250 million passengers a year. And we already have 4 airports capable of handling 100 million. Why would you put an airport in the desert to handle 250 million? Something is coming. There are
So it wasn't a mistake?
Never. It was never a mistake. It was part of the original plan for what is going to come going forward. We have the Dubai Centenary Plan, the 2071 plan, when the UAE is 100 years old. You've got the enterprise city coming up there. You have the logistics city coming up there. You have the residential city. You have the aviation airport city coming up there. So you have all these cities. Now you've got the smart cities coming up. You've got District 2020 for commercial business. You have the Chinese market, Yiwu.
So Dubai, as we know it now, is nothing comparison to how it's going to be. It's going to be a bigger city, Dubai South, right? This size-wise.
Size-wise, future of business, all of that is coming. Let's take one example. I have talked about it on a few podcasts. The Yiwu market. The Yiwu market, the Chinese premier has put $3.5 billion into that one market. It's on a 20 million square foot plot, 60 million square foot built up area, 3 levels. Now that number is a lot, but let's put it into perspective. The Burj Khalifa, the cost of construction of the tallest tower in the world was $1.5 billion. The new tower, the Creek Tower, which is going to be redesigned, but its original plan was $1 billion. So if you take the tallest building in the world, you add the new tallest building, and you add a third new tallest building. That much money the Chinese premier has put in one market. The president of the fastest growing economy in the world for the last 19 years is telling you, Dariush, you should be in Dubai. That's all happening in Dubai South. And now you have Palm Jebel Ali coming on the other side.
Is that sold out completely?
No. They had only a few phases. There are multiple launch phases to still come. 80 hotels have to come on the fringes. That is not even started. Even the shorelines, the fronts, there is so much more to come. So that is coming up. You have all the logistics which have moved to the biggest airport. Opposite you is Gate 5 in Jebel Ali, the 4th busiest airport in the world. The world's busiest and largest logistics corridor is now in Dubai. That is where the future is coming up. So it's all part, which is why I'm saying, if you do not understand the economic plans of Dubai, real estate will not make sense. Because you cannot build your economy without having infrastructure, commercial, residential, retail, social, hospitality, hotels, malls. You need all of this infrastructure for your economy to keep growing and doubling. So you cannot separate the two. And when you understand the economic agenda, what's happening in real estate just makes sense.
No bubble.
Straight away.
No bubble. Beautiful. 2 more questions. One is, you have such an amazing message. Everyone I come across in the real estate business raves about your training. I've experienced your training is outstanding. There's one of you at the moment. And we
Yes.
discussed how you can expand, and you're looking for real key individuals to join you, and you can spend time. And I feel your knowledge is priceless. So please, this is your chance to talk to the audience. There could be one person out there who ticks all your boxes. Tell me what kind of a character you're looking for to recruit, to help you grow this message. And what is it that you don't want?
Okay. Let's talk about the second part first. What I don't want is someone who just comes on board because I've become good at what I do and they just want to have their piece of the pie. Okay. I got here with blood, sweat, and tears. I'm looking for people like that. You see, everyone is willing to ride with you when you're in the limo. But what we are looking for is people who are willing to take the bus with us when the limo breaks down. You got passion, you got a fire in your belly, there's a strong drive. I'll check your attitude, and if the hunger is there, then that is something I would definitely look for. I don't want people coming in who want the easy way out. I'm not interested in that. Second thing, what I'm looking for is you need to have stage presence. When you walk in, you should have the ability to own the room. Mm-hmm. Because you will walk in, you'll sit with brokers who are hitting 400,000 commission a month, but they still respect you when you walk in. This is Dr. Anand has come. That we have earned that reputation. So even if they hit 400,000, they still come and say, I'm talking to this buyer. It's a 600 million hotel and all. They come to you for these answers. So I need someone who can own that. I need someone who can show me that they have a good emotional intelligence and a sort of psychology and their background. Because you're dealing with humans, and salespeople are highly emotional people, and they do take a beating. Okay. So I need that. I need someone who's got a good sales head. Everything else can be given to them. And I want a person who's got minimum 5 years of solid sales training. I don't have the time to teach you how to train. And I have time to sharpen your training skills in a particular type of sales training, investment related training. That's what I can do. But I'm not going to teach you psychology. I'm not going to teach you emotional intelligence. I'm not going to teach you or work on your attitude. And I'm not going to work on your own selling skills. And if you have a demonstrated record of closing a few deals, perfect. Why should I listen to you? Mm-hmm. When you stand in front of a room and you never close deals, why should I listen to you? Entrepreneurial drive, really important for me. So these are the type of, I don't care male, female. I can work with both. But I need to see people who got that hunger. When they walk in, you know, this is it. This person will be able to do it.
Have you ever thought of franchising your work? Because right now, I know you're traveling around the world doing this. So have you ever thought about franchising?
Did not before, but in the last 1 year, I have been thinking about it because literally I am being pulled in multiple directions. I'm turning down big companies like an Aldar because I don't have time. So even some top brokerages, many of them again in this building, I'm saying no to them. Yeah. It hurts a little bit, but again for me, I'm not going to just keep taking things on and growing a team of half qualified people because the brand gets diluted and there's no way I'm going to let that happen. So even if I have to let it go, I'll let it go. But whoever talks about me will say, okay, with him, you got to work with. Yeah. That's it. So if I can find somebody like that, and I have been searching for some time, then yes, willing to.
How do they approach you, doctor?
Most of them usually come to me through Instagram. They reach out on my LinkedIn.
We will put your Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram mostly, and some on LinkedIn. Some of them go to my website and then they put an inquiry. Some of them, my number is easily available to people. So they're watching all the podcasts and they just put messages.
Okay, what we'll do, we'll make sure we put your contact details on there.
Yeah, I have a strategy which I use. I know I shouldn't be saying it, but I'm going to say it.
Please do.
When people actually reach out to me, I ignore them.
It's how they...
Yeah, no, I just ignore them. If they really want it bad enough,
you'll find a way.
They'll keep coming after me. That's what I need. So at the cost of sounding rude and dismissive, I just don't bother. Mm-hmm. I want to see what they do next.
How creative they can be.
Yeah, I want to see how they'll get. How they'll get.
Yeah, because out in the marketplace, if they work with someone, that's how they're going to represent them.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I just do that. I want to see, because tomorrow they're going to have to deal with a lot of rejection. They're going to have to train people who don't know how to deal with rejection. And how do you get in touch with someone who's refusing to be in touch with you? Mm-hmm. So it's actually a test.
Beautiful.
That I do.
I like it. Love it. We've got to do this again.
Absolutely.
It's been an honor, as always.
It's
Thank
great doing it like this. No preparation, just come in raw,
just flow.
and that's it. And
Do you
just
know
do
what?
it.
Rarely I meet great salespeople, and with you, I could talk for days, let alone hours. So I honor you, Gladiator.
I honor you as well.
We've been over an hour. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, my friend. See you again.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the half as much as I did. Take these nuggets, keep sharpening your knife, earn loads of money. And if any of you want to inspire others and learn from the best, do contact Dr. Anand, because he is growing his company tremendously fast and he needs great people like you. Thank you, Gladiators.